Bill Richards, principal and quite involved in theater at Westbrook Walnut Grove High School. I've been doing this for 38 plus years, and I have had dabbled in the pageant, Laura Ingalls Wilder stuff, and a lot of theater. And I'm excited about video and photography, and just we're a small school in rural southwest Minnesota. In case you don't know where that is, it's right near where God lives. And so come and visit us sometime. I think more importantly is to perhaps be the bully pulpit for arts education, more than I've seen for a long time. Also to make the case again and again. And I've always suggested that they create a report card that rates the schools on how they're doing in the arts. They started it, it didn't work too well, they need to keep working on that. Superintendents pay attention to how they compare.
My name is Cody Hendricks, and I'm the head of the art department at Adrian High School. I got my bachelor's from Northwestern University, a master's from the Rhode Island School of Design. I've been a working and practicing artist for about 10 years. The industrial arts teacher and I, we have co-building and painting projects. We do a lot of outsourcing. We do community projects, public arts. We build things for companies in the community in Adrian. The other thing that is unique about us is that most of our kids have no exposure to culture. I've done 3 public art projects for the National Endowment for the Arts. One is in Boston, one's in Providence, Rhode Island, and one in New York City. I think one of the things that's really missing from rural arts education is an idea that this is a real life, that this is an actual formidable profession in the world. It's challenging to be a rural artist, but not without its merits. You know, I can do whatever I want.
My name is Michelle Capine. I am the only art teacher at Buffalo Lake Hector Schools, so I have K through 12 art. It's my first year here and back in Minnesota because I was living in Phoenix, Arizona. It's all about alignment with state standards, and I think I'm pretty aligned with Minnesota state standards. They're similar to Arizona state standards, and I'm guessing we're all working towards national state art standards. I draw, I paint. I bought the bank building in Sanborn to make an art business. I'm in the middle of fixing it up a little bit, needs paint. I really think standards alignment is the big issue right now, and helping all art educators understand how to do that, and that it isn't that difficult.
My name is Lee Hess. I teach 1st through 12th grade music at Comfrey Public School. I teach all the elementary, 6th and 7th grade choir, 6th and 7th grade band, 8th through 12th choir, 8th through 12 band, and jazz band, along with pep bands and all other musical things in our school. But we've started a guitar program. I'm using 5th graders as my guinea pigs, I guess you would call them, as we first started. So it would be awesome if we could get some support with some of those details that I've lost since college about, you know, some of the things that make a concert choir just a little better, or a concert band just a little better. Even those kinds of things would be amazingly helpful. Outstate, rural Minnesota, southwestern Minnesota specifically, where I'm at, an arts education is incredibly valuable for our students because unfortunately they don't get exposed to a lot of cultural experiences unless we do that at the school.
My name is Paul Tzinski. I'm the RTR art instructor at both the middle school and high school this year. So I teach grades 6 through 12. I've always had good support here at the high school. And we've had 3 different administrators since I've been here in the 9 years I've been here. But they've all been open to including art both in the school and in support of the program. Yes, I have had students that have gone on to be graphic designers, video game designers, people in publishing. Our former administrator always encouraged me to write grants and that kind of thing, but like I told him, I said, well, I either have time to teach and prepare to teach, or I have time to write grants, but I can't really do both. You wear so many hats when you're in a small school, so you know, time, I guess, was a limitation for that. I have so many students come in every day and tell me that this is their favorite class of the day. And some of those are surprising because they don't do real well in there, but you know, at the end of the year or something, they'll say, you know, that's what got me through this school year.
I'm Danielle Wiedeking. I'm the art teacher here at Heron Lake Okabena. I've been the art teacher here for 3 years. We team up with the music and choir department quite a bit and have art shows with them, display our art in the school. I've also done some grants with SMOC. I've had a grant for a visiting artist she was a ceramic artist who came down from the cities and taught a co-lesson with me and just kind of introduced her work to the kids, which I thought was great. They could see someone making a living in art, in the art business outside of school settings. Came down. I've also got a grant through SMOC for the field trip, which we've taken trips to the Walker and the MIA up in Minneapolis, which I think is really good because when I first got to Heron Lake Okabena, none of the kids had actually went to the MIA before or the Walkers. So one thing that I would really like is maybe having more people from the community that work on their artwork coming in. And the Perpich Center I haven't really worked with a whole lot. I've went to the educators conference, the art educators conference, and heard a lot about them from them, but I guess I've just been down here in the corner of the state, haven't probably utilized it as much as I could have. So I just haven't been a part of the PLCs at all since I've got here, which is something that I've really missed. Being, like I said, an army of one, I really miss kind of talking to other art teachers and seeing what they're doing in their classrooms along with the techniques that they use.
My name is Anita Runk, and I own and teach in the dance studio in Lamberton, Minnesota. And the name of the studio is Anita's Conservatory of Dance. And we start them in a combination class where they get ballet, tap, and some basic motor skills, jazz, preliminary jazz skills, and pre-ballet, you know, depending on the age of the child. And some tumbling skills also. We don't have a lot of wealth in this area. And so we're always looking for scholarships for the children. There have been a couple avenues that I've been able to direct people to, and they've been able to take advantage of those scholarships. But we can always use more scholarships so that we can help more children be exposed to the art of dance. I have had an opportunity to bring dance to the Westbrook Walnut Grove School District because of the arts program that they have, the Magnet Arts program that they have had, and Prairie Winds, I believe, is what it was called, and that was very beneficial for all of those students, all diverse students, to be able to be exposed to this medium. Also, the Red Rock Central School District has hired me to come in and actually teach a dance unit within the physical education class for a couple week period.
My name is Chris Nowinski. I am the high school, middle school art teacher in Laverne, Minnesota. I've been there since August of 1988 and started a raku weekend in Laverne in 1992 or 3, and we kept that going for 20 years. Mid-90s, I got a grant from Southwest Minnesota Arts and Humanities Council for the students to create a larger than life-size earth sculpture of a reclining buffalo that we put in the front lawn of the school. There have been a lot of really great things that have happened. Kids have been very, very productive over the years. You know, over the years, our district is no different than any other, or many others. We no longer have an elementary art program, which is a tragic thing. We were finally able to have this activity that's happening today through the State High School League. And it's a great experience for kids to come and see what their peers are doing and to kind of move on to another level of having their work exhibited. The only thing that would be nice would be if we had some representation from any of those entities that are involved in this.
I'm Kathy Stallnaker. I teach English and media literacy, film studies at McRae High School, and I also direct the plays and the musicals here. The media lit film studies class was a class I proposed about 5 years ago to kind of fill a void with some of the electives and kids' interests. And so it's kind of grown from little baby steps of what do I want kids to be able to know and do by the time they get done with this class, and how can that translate into usable skills beyond high school. The arts as a way to create thoughtful conversation has been one of the real positives of this. I have really enjoyed over the years the opportunity to work with the Perpich Center on things. Leanne and myself and Diane, our media center gal, we were part of one of the ACE grants for the media arts, and we were able to work with a lot of really fun people and learn a lot of really great things. So programs like that, I think, are super beneficial, especially out here. And when I say out here, I mean out in rural Minnesota. We have a really pretty robust theater program here, I think, but we don't have a theater. I do everything in the gym. I've really enjoyed I've been to quite a few things that Perpich has sponsored as far as workshops and professional development, things like that. So I would like to see lots more. I think one of the things that, and I think all schools face it, is saving their arts program, whether it's a media lit program or an after-school theater program or their visual art program, and I think we see K-6 schools really hit hard with losing visual art teachers. The arts are so important to allowing people to express emotions, to share feelings, and to learn how to interpret and analyze the world around them in a way that opens up conversation.
Okay, I'm Kathy Kinsley. I have been teaching for 32 years as a visual art teacher. I have 3 years in the southeast Minnesota, and the rest of the time is up here in Montevideo. I have taught middle school for 23 years, and the rest of the time here in Monte I have been in the high school department. We lost the middle school department 6 years ago, which was full-time, and a high school department full-time. And now that we only have me as the department head and leader, I'm pulling from all different directions for the reason that these kids are coming up with not a lot of knowledge in arts at all, from as easy as mixing colors to using the right pencils to using a paintbrush. The first thing you hear is when they come in is, I can't draw, I can't paint. And then my question to them is, has anyone ever shown you? And they'll say no. And I said, well, that's my job, and I'm going to be able to do that for you. It'd be so nice to get more resources. I know you can get them by mail. I have in the past have been down to the Perpich Center for classes that they've had. They've offered to visual art teachers and theater teachers. And you come home all excited with all these great information, and you go to use it, and it doesn't happen. You can do it to a point, but you can't get the supplies that you may need because you're under a budget crunch. And when you ask for extra, they're going to say, so where do you want us to get that from? So they have phenomenal ideas. They have phenomenal experts. But to go in and get the information and bring it back to rural Minnesota, which is a 3-hour drive out here, it would be nice to have, if they could, people to come and visit, if we were doing a project, or even collaborate with them and say, okay, we're doing this for every 3 months, and we are able to send someone out. But there again, that is a budget thing, and everything costs money. If you can touch a few kids each class, I find I'm successful. I'm not going to hit everybody, but I'll hit a few. So.
All right. My name's Dave Stordalen. I'm the director of bands at New Ulm Public High School, Independent School District number 88. And this year I teach 7 through 12 bands and 7 and 8 general music. New Ulm is steadily building back its music program. We're up to 75 kids in our concert band and marching band. I've got over 50 kids in 2 jazz bands, and that's not counting our incoming 7th graders, so we're looking at switching to 3 jazz bands. looking forward to the future when we can split into 2 whole concert bands in the high school. The day is coming. So music is a big part of the district here. And on the choir side too, just tons and tons of kids in the program. So great things are happening here in the musical arts. One of the biggest issues is that arts teachers in general, music teachers in specific, don't speak administrator very well. And it's something that we've discovered coming out in our evaluation process. However, teaching lessons is seen as, by many administrators, as a wasteful use of a teacher's time because they're only meeting kids in 2s and 3s, maybe half a dozen. So the fight that we fight here, and I know other teachers are dealing with it, is defending their lesson program. I would argue that the most well-rounded education, at least to the 12th grade, if not through college, is the better education. That's what kids need, because then they have this huge bag of skills, not just in science and math, but in the humanities, that'll allow them to go into any profession that they end up choosing, seeking, stumbling into. The Perpich Center for the Arts exclusively as a staff development or professional development source, but throughout my career, every 3 or 4 years, there's been something that I've really enjoyed that piqued my interest, that was special there, that wasn't offered anywhere else. I see that as another way that the Perpich Center could, develop templates and talking points so that music educators could, again, speak administrator and really sell, hey, this is going to help kids, it's going to save them money, and it's going to make our school special because we're offering a fine arts credit or a humanities credit that nobody else in the area is offering.
I'm Amanda Beckler, and I teach art at Renville County West. I am really excited about the arts integration piece that's coming from the Perpich Center to help us. And so I'm really excited to start incorporating more of the core academics and partnering with those teachers to build curriculum where we see a little bit more connection of why the arts is important and how it can relate to the other areas.
I'm Brendan Canavan, Director of Bands at RCW Schools. Fine arts education is the most important thing to have because it's really a study of our humanity and how we live as people and how we express ourselves through different mediums other than just talking, through visual arts, through musical arts.
My name is Tamara Eastfeld, and I teach here at Renville County West School. I'm their fine arts teacher, one of 2. And what's really going well at RCW is the ability to try new things. The administration will let us communicate, or I should say partner with other people. It could be a different school district. We partner with like the local Renvilla nursing home and did a large mural there. We've done some mosaics in Granite Falls. So we try to do things that are more than just the regular paper pencil type thing so that the students have really a wide range of opportunities. It might be digital art with Mrs. Beckler, so that they can kind of see how I can maybe use this in the future, how it's not just a class. And we really also try to connect to other subject areas. So it might be science, we use math, we use reading, and kids just kind of now assume that when they're in art, it's not just about throwing paint on a piece of paper and that's it. It's like there's more to it than that. So, what is the history behind this method? Or if we're creating something new, what are the chemicals we're using? How do we mix our glazes? And so we'll run up to Mr. Sinner, who teaches science, and ask him the chemistry behind it. Why do we have these large crystals in our glaze? What's wrong with it? Then his class will try to figure that out and then let us know. So we really try to partner back and forth. Perpich Center could help us to maybe partner together. Sometimes we feel we're so outstate that we don't connect to the cities or the metro area when it comes to museums or finding out what's going on in the art scene in the metro area. We feel kind of remote.
I'm Clayton Hubert. I teach art at Red Rock Central. It's a K-12 program. I love that we have such a huge facility to offer the students. At the high school level, we have drawing and painting. We've got ceramics and sculpture. I offer a crafts class where we do basket weaving and some textile art. And long story short, we built our own furnace and we cast iron in Lamberton. And so we set it up so it's the second weekend of school every year, and that way my students can have the first 2 weeks to create something that they can take and cast into iron. I'd love to get other artists that are out there in the community doing the work to come show our students that this is a career. You can make something of this.
Sure. My name is John Loy. I'm Director of Bands here at Worthington High School in Worthington, Minnesota. We're in the southwest corner of the state. Always important to find out where Worthington is. And I guess I'm also the department chair for our music program here at the high school. We have 10 full-time music teachers in our district of just over 3,000 students. So we feel very fortunate with that ratio. The district is very committed to the arts and feel very fortunate to work in such a school district. You know, and it's wonderful to see so many kids get involved. We have seen the involvement skyrocket here in the past, say 5 or 6 years. With the Perpich Center, we can't say enough great things about the Perpich Center for what they've done for Worthington. A few years ago, we were mapping and we were working on defining our curriculum and how that really looked on paper. We knew what it looked like in the classroom. But what's so great about when the Perpich Center came to us through paperwork that we had presented to ask if they would come. They were such good listeners.
My name is Jennifer Buckles. I'm originally from Marshall, Minnesota. This is my second year teaching in Worthington. I went to school at SDSU for art education, and so far I love what I do. So maybe just our budget kind of holds us back a little bit.
I am Gail Holinka, born and raised in Worthington, Minnesota, and currently I teach full-time high school art and also the Worthington Public Arts Chair Commission. So we have a lot going on in Worthington regarding the arts. We have a strong support from our school board and administrators. Most recently, we started an elementary program. I have been fighting for that since I started here as an art teacher, and so that's very exciting for us to now have an elementary art teacher who's been doing a fabulous job. We've worked with Perpich. They're an excellent facility. We can go up there and we can get workshops and all that, and I do that a lot in the summers because it does help us to grow. And I think as art teachers, you shouldn't stop learning. You're constantly learning and growing. So to bring some of those resources to Worthington, we have worked with Perpich in the past. They've come down and done some curriculum writing with us. So it's hard to do. I mean, when you're teaching and that's your full-time job, you're trying to do all the extras, and so to have those supports for funding and just the expertise is really invaluable. Art can be one of those things that'll hopefully bring good and bring peace, to the world through creating and understanding one another. I know people judge, and there's so much of that going on that I think we could just respect one another, love one another, and do art.
Good morning. I'm Carolyn Enstead. I'm sitting in my classroom at Westbrook Walnut Grove High School in Westbrook, Minnesota. I have been an educator for 30 plus years, and currently I am a 7th grade language arts teacher. I also teach speech communications class to juniors and seniors, and I also have an intro to theater class and an advanced theater class. As part of the Magnet Arts program and through the Perpich Center here at WWG, one of the things that is essential is obviously in our curriculum is to keep the arts alive and well. My suggestion would be prioritize, and I'm probably from the top, would be better communication. I know that the Perpich Center is there, and I will take partial blame on this, that oftentimes I don't seek out what the Perpich Center can do for me. On occasion, I will go to the website, I will look at some of the resources, and then I get busy with my lesson planning or correcting my student work, and then I put it on the back burner.
Hi, I'm Jamie Steffel, and I work at Redwood Area High School. I am the high school visual arts teacher. There are a lot of great things happening here at Redwood High School. We recently were approved by our school board to implement a $17,000 proposal to implement more media arts and completely change and add another space upstairs with natural lighting. This space will allow for more interior design and graphic design to be added to my visual art curriculum, and I think it's truly going to make my students career and college ready for the arts. I think that being in a rural area, we're often omitted when it comes to recognition or representation for our art programs. Metro schools seem to get a lot of help because of the proximity to the Perpich Center, and I think that more workshop days, more collaboration when we meet in our PLCs, and more programs that help us to advocate to our administrations, as well as possible funding for some outreach programs here that maybe take into consideration our PLC or groups of schools that could work together, you know, in the 2 hour to 3 hour away from the metro area, rather than having us come to the cities to collaborate on something. I think we could do some really great things with the arts that are happening out here. And what I love most about what I teach is it helps students connect the dots. Like, art is where we connect the dots for every other curriculum area. Everything comes together here. You know, we put so much focus on STEAM, more STEM than STEAM, but here is where we can really kind of connect those things: science, technology, engineering, and math, and apply it where all students with diverse learning types can really make it click and understand it.
I don't know, Bill, is it? I mean, I think that's it. We don't see them. We don't see you. And going back 20 years ago when this process started, and the visits to the Perpich Center, or Perpich Center folks coming out to see us. And I really would like to see that getting back on track so that we can work together, making arts what they can be and should be in our schools today.
Art education is kind of how you bring a lot of the other things that we learn together. It provides a way of communicating that is able to reach students that are pretty much turned off by a lot of everything else that they've had. The opportunity for creativity, for problem solving, the things that are not just important for them to figure out who they are, but also the things that will essentially give them a competitive edge if you want to go into the job market. The arts is where that all comes together. The other pieces are vital, and I don't discount them, but without the arts, it's easy to lose your way. When I talk to students, I talk about the importance of a mixture of academics, arts, and athletics, like a three-legged stool. All of those things together provide a solid foundation. This day and age, the arts are not a very strong leg in that stool. We need to make that happen for us personally, emotionally, and economically to be much more successful personally and perhaps as a nation as well. Without the arts, people don't have a heart, and we need that.
Being, like I said, an army of one, I really miss kind of talking
We have
to
seen
other
the
art
involvement
teachers.
skyrocket here in the past, say 5 or 6 years.
Show our students that this is a career. You can make something of
Sometimes we
this.
feel we're so outstate that we don't
Arts
connect.
teachers in general, music teachers in specific, don't speak administrator very well.
At the end of the year or something, they'll say, you know, that's what got me through this school year.
If you can touch a few kids each class, I find I'm successful.